I think you hit on something really important that dealers, I think, really need to be thinking about. I think this needs to be talked about in 20 groups. I think it needs to be talked about in, weekly staff meetings. And that is who in the dealership is actually keeping at least somewhat close to pace of all the things technically that affect the business. Because and we've joked about this many times before, the internet's been with us for a little while now. Why are you guys, and it's not just the car business, we love dealers. And so sometimes it feels like we're being a little critical of them, but it's more meant out of encouragement. Like we love dealers and we want them to win all the time. But boy, the faster and the bigger that the waves come of all this new stuff, and now it's all the AI stuff, and everybody wanted to tell you.
I love what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love what you're talking about because it's polarizing, right, for dealers now with data. There's just so much data coming at them. What do you do with it all? So, like, I try to, I have ADD, as I've told you before. So I'm always like, squirrel, squirrel, squirrel.
I got the only one. It's not a bad saying. It's like,
I got that from you, by the way, squirrel, squirrel. But I am very keen on and perceptive to what's urgent, right? And prioritization of the data. I'm a data geek because of, my teachers used to say that I was lazy when I was a kid. It wasn't that. I just got bored with stuff that I couldn't get an answer to, right? Or I had to spend a ton of time. I like to get the answers quickly. I don't want to waste hours and hours to learn something I can learn in 5 minutes. And so with that said, data does that for you if you read it right. And if it's easy to access. The challenge dealers have today is all this data is sitting in all these different places. And then you get these customer data platforms and all they're doing is really mapping out all these clicks and all this other stuff, which is just way too much, frankly, for a car dealer to want to digest and understand. They want to know key, performance indicators, right? They don't want to look at it all.
Yeah.
So, for example, one of my buddies I was talking to yesterday owns a group we have, and I told him 110 of his cars, of his 350, didn't have photos. And he's the owner of this group. And he was like, "Are you kidding me?" I'm like, "No." And he's like, because they have that somewhere in some system that tells them that. I'm not going to name all the systems because I don't want to put any of them down, but it's another login and another place for someone to go and look at. And like, unless you have a really well-defined like process every morning to go, all right, I got to check my photos. I got to check my notes. I got on the cars. I got to check my pricing. And you do for that. But then you got a whole bunch of other data like marketing data, Google Analytics are over here, and your lead data is in the CRM. And like, I kind of understand and empathize with dealers in that regard. So, shameless plug, we're working on a dealer portal, and I'm trying to think up with AI, right? So we have VCons and conservers, and we're taking all the conversational data, we're getting sentiment analysis, all that kind of stuff. But what I like about it is we're ingesting a lot of information into AI that now I can tell AI, this is what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Show me when something gets out of whack, show it to me. Yeah. That's what I want as an ADD person. I don't want to have to log in to go find it and spend, I just did an analysis for a dealer in New York that took me an hour. Not because I'm slow, it's because I had to go into different systems to find data, to put the information together and piece it all together. So I think you're spot on. And I think that's what I'm hoping AI can do for me versus answer a phone and talk to a customer. That is so impersonal. Like that just really scares me for the future of our world.
Yeah.
If we're going to go to that far where I don't want to talk to a customer because, the emotional baggage, it's going to cause me pain because they're going to reject me or they're going to hang up or they're going to be mean to me. And let's let a robot do it. Or it's going to be cheaper.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, Shaun, I don't know. Maybe there is definitely place for automations. There's definitely place for tedious things like, cleaning up data and things like that. But to talk to a customer, I mean, gosh, that's really scary.